या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणा वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेष जाड्यापहा ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि.
Nobody is more excited to be here at Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth and look forward to the new year than our very own Dean of Faculty and Vice Chancellor in charge, Dr. Gauri Mahulikar. For those of you who are new in this place, Dr. Gauriji is an eminent teacher of Sanskrit in her formal role as the head of the Department of Sanskrit at University of Mumbai, award-winning researcher and publisher of papers and books. And the most interesting thing for me as a Mumbaikar is that her contributions are in 3 languages. Of course, preeminent among them is Sanskrit, but Dr. Gauriji is also very actively engaged in contributions in the world of Marathi, as involved in the global Vishwakosh project, as well as in Hindi. I invite Dr. Gauriji to address the students and looking forward to the new year.
Namo Namaha. Sharada Sharadambhoja Vadana Vadanambuja Sarvada Sarvadasmakam Sannidhim Sannidhim Kriyat Adnyanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yaihi Tebhyo Gurubhyo Namaha. Ai Manchasthaha Manyavaraha Swami Charanaha Advayananda Maharajaha अस्य कार्यक्रमस्य विशिष्ट अतिथि रूपेण अत्र आगतः विदेशतः आगतः हरिकिरण महोदयः तथैव श्री श्रीधरन् महाभागः अस्माकमेव परमसुहृद् अस्य विद्यापीठस्य रचयितारूपेण अत्र सर्वेषां परिचितः महादेवन् महाभागः सुन्दरवर्यः अत्र अधिशालम् उपस्थिताः अन्ये निमन्त्रिताः अभ्यागताः सर्वेभ्यः हार्दं नमो नमः सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतं व्याहरामि. Friends, this is indeed a very pleasant occasion for me to be in front of you. In fact, I have addressed all the newcomers as students in the inaugural function of the Bridge program. But this is the day, the Vidyarambha day. When we really are going to start our program courses as such, our content courses as such from today. We have all had a very wonderful and very blissful divine experience in the morning with the Vidyarthi Homa, the Ganesha Homa, then Saraswati Homa and Medha Dakshinamurti Homa. Dakshinamurti is the Shiva Guru. And like it is said, Chitram Vatataror Mule, Vruddha Shishya Gurur Yuva, Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam, Shishya Chinna Samshaya. But I warn you students, here in the university, Guru will not be Mauna, Guru will be talking to you all, and you are supposed to be Chinna Samshaya. All the doubts in your mind should be cleared when the Guru speaks to you, either in the way of discourses or in the way of group discussions or seminars or field visits. There are number of ways, you know. We must be, I mean, you all, I'm sure, are looking forward. I am also looking forward to welcome you as our students here. And I'm very glad that our last year students, the seniors, so to say, by 1 year, they are also here amongst us today. They are going to start their third semester today. And you all, my dear friends, are starting your first semester today. What we look forward from you, what we expect from you, I think there are number of expectations from the peers, the elders, the parents, your teachers. And you know, you have the responsibility to shoulder all these expectations, you know, and fulfill those expectations as soon as possible and in the best capacity which you can do. Now, looking forward to that, I just want to assure you from the university side what we are going to give you. This is something different than what you find in other conventional, traditional universities. Here you will really find a blend, you know, a harmonious blending of the past and the present. We are deeply rooted into our Indian heritage and culture, which is a grand repository and a grand legacy which every Indian should be proud of. And at the same time, we are not overlooking and not belittling the technical advances which we are going to face. So here is a good combination of these two. So we want you, we are looking forward to you to get this baton from your elders, from our ancestors, from our peers, and take it to further, you know, for the posterity, for your own development. Your development will bring the development of the environment, of your family, of your society, of your town, your city, your country, and entire globe. So like a ripple effect, this movement should spread all over the world. That is what we wish. And I look forward to you, you know, a bright ambassadors of this culture, of the CVV culture. Once again, I welcome you all to this fraternity, to this family. We are proudly saying of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Let us start with our Chinmaya family first, and then we'll embrace the entire globe. Okay, so Hari Om, and wish you all the best for your future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gauriji. Our next speaker is Professor Mahadevan, a person of many talents, but the one that counts for most of us today is as an inspiring teacher. I invite our founder, Vice Chancellor, and Chief Academic Advisor, Professor B. Mahadevanji, to address.
Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanooramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Nityasmaraniyaha Advayananda Mahabhagaha Bharatiya Samskriti tata Samskrita Punarujjevane Sada Sarvada Karyamagnaha Mama Atyanta Priyatamaha Mitram Adyatana Karyakamasya Mukhya Atiti Apicha Hari Kiran Mahabhagaha Tasmyeva Karye Idopi Adhikataya Magnaha Sridharan Mahabhagaha Asmakam Saha Udyoginaha Dean Varyaha Sundar Mahodayaha Adhyapakaha Atra ye santi Tutiya Varsha Pravesha ye Pravesham Kritavantah te Chatraha Nutana Chatraha Tesham Mata Pitro Sarvebhyaha Adav Mama Namaskaran Pradarshayami. I think there are very important people to speak, so I will try to keep it as concise as possible. I have already spoken to all of you on the inauguration day. Of course, the second years I have bugged them with my thoughts for 1 year on many occasions. So therefore, let me just make it as... But first of all, on behalf of every one of us, I want to offer my grateful pranams to Swami Sridharan for a wonderful Vidyarambha Homa that we did today morning. It was absolutely fabulous. What was so wonderful about that is if you do the Homa for 5 minutes, it makes no meaning to anyone. If you do it for 2 years, half of us are switched off. The timing was so appropriate, but the 5 O's that we took at the end were absolutely, it triggered a lot of thoughts in me, so I am going to talk only because of that. There are a few things I just want to share, but it was absolutely wonderful to see those O's and the way you all have consciously taken a O. So I just want to add a 6th O to that, which is coming out of that. I was thinking about those 5 O's and some thoughts came to my mind. As Gauri ji already said, and as that we have been saying, we'll keep on saying again and again, because that's part of our DNA, is we will not be just worried only about teaching you, the Adhunika Shastra. Of course, we will do that. All that knowledge we will teach. We want to see you a little different, and there lies your own prosperity, growth, and the prosperity of the nation. So therefore, that is the motivation for us to do all these. So I want all of you to take one more vow today, and that is to say that I will be a person with a certain character development. A person with a strength of character, because that is what makes a society great. At the end of the day, the more and more we have people who have the strength of the character, that leverages the possibilities for an individual and the society. So I want you to take a vow for it. Now, what is this development of character? I mean, sometimes you can get away with one statement and one phrase and then go. So therefore, I want to only expand that theme. The way I have understood what it means to develop character, I just thought of only 4 things that came to my mind. How do we say a person is a man of character or a woman of character, for example? I think the first attribute that I see in such a person is strength and gentleness must coexist. So I'm going to give you pairs of words which are seen today in opposite camps. You have Dadagiri, or you have somebody who is gentle, that means you can do anything to him. This is the thinking today. I am going to give you what a person of character would really mean. The first attribute I see is gentleness and strength must coexist. That person will have strength, but he will have enormous gentleness. This is the first character that we need to develop. Don't see it in 2 opposite camps. Don't think that the person with his Dadagiri is the meaning of strength, because somewhere we have this kind of a confusion. The second thing which is very, very important, a good knowledge of Indian knowledge system will definitely get there. Great broad-mindedness must coexist with intense faith and conviction. So today, if somebody says, I have faith, somehow we think it is narrow-mindedness. Faith, blind belief. There are so many words being used in English and try to characterize. Intense faith and conviction can potentially coexist with broad-mindedness in a person who has a developed character. It's very important we should have it. Without faith and conviction, we cannot achieve things, and without broad-mindedness, we will not go forward. Today, unfortunately, both are on 2 different camps. A person of character will have both. I want you to think about it and develop that kind of a character. The third, which I see it in many of the Upanishadic statements also. For example, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, after a beautiful conversation between Janaka and Yajnavalkya, finally Yajnavalkya says, Abhayam vai praptosi Janakaha. Janaka, you have become fearless, indeed fearless. I want to tell you, intense fearlessness and intense compassion must be in the same person. Fearlessness, today again we think fearlessness and compassion don't go together. Person who has compassion means, all right, he's a nice fellow. I mean, he has a heart which will melt, but you can do anything with him. It's kinds of stereotypes, these kinds of mental models are floating around. A person of true character will have both. Intense. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yasmad na advijate lokaha, lokad na advijate chayaha. I am not afraid of the world is not afraid of me. That is the strength of character. I am not afraid of anything in the world. But then there are people who wield so much power, the world is afraid of them as long as they have the power. So that's not strength of character. That's why Krishna says, Tasmat na udvijate loka, loka na udvijate chayaha. I am not afraid of you and you are not afraid of me. We should be able to provide that space. That comes only through a character. This is the third attribute I want you to understand. If you develop these two attributes together in you, you will create a great character. Then there are a couple of attributes which also creates a great character, especially when you are at a student age. Sri Krishna in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita says, Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena seveya. In fact, somehow this notion of pariprashna has been replaced. So the spirit of inquiry has been replaced with questioning. Today, people think, it is a fashion to question. And sometimes to make the teacher inconvenient also, you can ask questions to, all that. That's not what a true spirit of inquiry is the real basis on which good knowledge will stay with you. That pariprashna is spirit of inquiry. So understand the difference between questioning and pariprashna. Pariprashna many a times need not mean ask questions. Many a times you don't have to ask questions. If the questions live with you, the questions will actually evolve into answers or into much deeper question, and it will eventually also go. That is pariprashna. Occasionally, of course, we can ask the teacher, we can ask our friends and so on. We have to develop that attitude of, how do you go about. That's the next thing I want to say. There are a couple of other things which are very, very important. It is extremely important that we have passion. Of course, you need fashion. Please have your fashion. I am not saying anything about that. But have passion. Its best performances happen only when people are passionate about what they do. It's not about the degree that you take. I can tell you, one of my classmates who was the third rank in JEE in 1983 is nowhere in the picture. Of course, he was absolutely brilliant. What he lacked was a certain passion, a certain attitude to life. Please understand, while you acquire good knowledge, you have to be very studious. Of course, you have to get the knowledge. Try to be passionate about things in life. Otherwise, we will never cover that extra mile. We will never have that sense of satisfaction of achieving something at the end of the day. So develop passion. Not just stop with fashion. Develop this attitude of passion that we should have. In fact, to broad base the whole thing, I think the greatest people who have made a difference to themselves and to the society and to their surroundings, which you have enormous opportunity. You have maybe you may have another 70 years, 80 years in front of you. You are just in your teens. You have probably another 80 years in front of you. If you have an attitude to life, you have a mechanical advantage. You have a very long rod with which you can turn the world. So develop a positive attitude to life. There will be lots of challenges in everything that we do in life, including studies, including this, including that. We will make sure that, all the time we'll ask you to do this submission, do this presentation, all that we will do. Develop this understanding of life. If you develop the right attitude to life, that attribute is like a very long rod that you have. You can turn the world the way you want. Don't develop cynicism in life. It's quite easy today to get cynical. Somehow, I think people don't understand this. Youngsters have to be a little cautious about it. This university would want people with this strength of character. Please develop this strength of character. You will make a difference to yourself. You will make a difference to your surroundings, and you will make a difference to the society at large. You will make your parents proud. They are very anxiously wanting to see you to be so successful in whatever you do in life, and their joy lies in that path that you take. So develop the strength of character. Please take the vow that we will develop a character which is worthy of that strength that we have, because that's what Swami Vivekananda said. Give me 1,000 men of strength of character, I will change the whole world. So we can easily create 1,000 such people in the next few years if all of us today decide that we will walk through that path. And that gives us the greatest satisfaction. I wish you all the best. This is a wonderful place. You have enough freedom to do things, but you will also have all kinds of things required for an educational system. We expect you to be very professional in what you do. We expect you to be very diligent. Of course, your work has to be very serious in what you do. While all that is there, there is still space for you to evolve and become a worthy individual. I wish you all the best. I seek the blessings of our lineage of gurus, right from Sri Krishna to Vedavyasa to all the gurus on this Guru Purnima day. Let all those blessings be showered on you, that you make a great future for yourself and for the country. Thank you. Hari Om.
The next speaker, Sri Hari Kiran Vadlamani, was actually referred to me by Swamiji many years ago, and since then he's become a very good friend. But more importantly, if you think about the 20th century, the one word that it brought into public consciousness, and it still is in public consciousness, is the word activist. So there are activists in every sphere across the world, which of course the most public example that we saw was Satyagraha and the way Mahatma Gandhi used it. And then in the last 20 years, there is the word called dharma activism that has become very prominent. And Sri Hari Kiran Vadlamani, who is a serial entrepreneur as well, but he is a brilliant representative of this word or this stream of action called dharma activism, because what is important for dharma activism is putting your thought, word and deed in behind what you are convinced about and what you want, the change that you want to see in the world. Sri Hari Kiran Vadlamani has gone one step further. He's put money, thought, word and deed behind the very important streams of dharma activism in this world today. And at the forefront of his agenda is the topic that he is going to speak about. He is the founder of Indic Academy, an institution that has supported both Chinmaya International Foundation and Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth in many different ways. Some of you who have scholarships may not know this, but you really have Indic Academy scholarships. It's just that we in our own administration haven't got to the stage of actually naming scholarships. But if we named scholarships, some of his scholarships would be named Indic Academy scholarships. So with that, not taking too much longer, I invite Sri Hari Kiran Vadlamani to speak on the topic Indic Renaissance, a vision for students.
Swami Advayananda ji, Dr. Gauri ji, Mahadevan ji, Sundar, Arundhati, Sridharan. I committed to coming here almost 5 months back, and I was not sure why I was invited. And in the mail it was not so clear. And I landed here yesterday evening, and Sundarji told me that I have to give a keynote address. So I was sort of ambushed with that task. And then my wife and I, we were chatting this morning, and she said, do you think you can really connect with the students? Because you are always, intellectual interactions and all that. Would you be able to connect with the students? I said, Bhagavan Shankara's grace, I hope to. So, end of my talk, you must tell my Sundari whether this Sundar has done the right thing in asking me to address the keynote address. I need a volunteer. Can somebody raise their hand? And So I'll give you 9 words, and I want you to repeat these 9 words at the end of my talk. Right now, you just remember them. So they are learnability, creativity, simplicity, accountability, exponential, global, tenacity, gratitude, attitude. Got that? Now we'll see after my talk whether you got all of them. There are 2 stories on Netflix that I was watching. One was an interview by Dr. Indira Nui. She's the first women CEO of a global company called PepsiCo. You must all be drinking Pepsi Cola. So she's from Chennai, and she became the CEO of PepsiCo. So when she came back to Mylapore, her house in Chennai, when the announcement came that she was the CEO of this company, everybody came, all the friends and relatives came, and they sort of shook her hands, but they all went to her mother and then congratulated the mother and said, "Wonderful way you raised your kid, congratulations." So this lady was sitting there, and they were very pre-functionary shake hand with her, but they actually spent time with her mother. There was another TV movie that I saw of The Man Who Knew Infinity. Srinivas Ramanujan. It's a wonderful movie. I request all of you to watch that movie. Today, I'll cover 5 themes. One is my relationship with Shankar Bhagavan, and I'm so happy that I'm here again after 5 years. And some of us are sort of nutcases as far as Shankar Bhagavan is concerned. And we get these crazy ideas about what we should do. One of the beginning of my dharmic activism has actually started with the blessings of Shankar Bhagavan. It so happened that there was a conference on non-dualism, Advaita, in California, and it was called Science and Non-Dualism. And it was a 2-day, 3-day conference, and I was looking at all the different sessions, and there was no mention of Adi Shankaracharya. There was one small session on Vedanta. That's it. So you can imagine that the saint, the man who gave us this whole concept, who distilled the essence of the Vedas and gave us the concept of non-dualism, he is not recognized in the world. So this was a moment of epiphany that this needed to be changed. The name of Shankar Bhagavan needs to be known to everybody. So few of us think that, okay, just like he has established the 4 matas around the world, why can't we look at establishing 4 matas around the world, not around India, not around Bharat alone? Or we are currently working on a project where we want to install 108 murtis of Shankar Bhagavan around the world. We have started, the first murti is going to be installed near Coimbatore, but we want to install it everywhere. Someday, thanks to Narendra Modi, we had this World Yoga Day. Someday, in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, I am sure that there will be a World Oneness Day dedicated to Shankar Bhagavan. This is my dream and vision and the purpose with which all the dharmic activism is happening. My relationship with Chinfo started with my meeting with Swami Tejavananda in Singapore, and then he introduced me, and we started supporting the Bhagavad Gita courses on Facebook, and also with Arundhati we are working on KTPI. More importantly, we want Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth to establish their 3rd campus in Hyderabad, in our land in Hyderabad. And in 5 years' time, when the regulations permit, we are going to work with Swamiji and establish. So by the time you finish your degree and you're working in the corporate world, you want to do an executive development program, I'm sure you'll come to Hyderabad to Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth in Hyderabad campus and do your program there. One other thing that stuck with me about Chinfo here when I came in 2013, about Gurudev's, he's very mischievous with words, he plays with words, and he gives, so his theme is about connecting the Pandit with the public, science with the spirituality, East with West, science with spirituality, and past with the present. So this is a very interesting, encompasses a lot of distilled wisdom into the vision of this institution. And so this struck me. and I'll come to it later. My own life's journeys and values and what at the age of 55 that I look back is that it is very important for me to continuously learn. So learnability is a very, very important value for me. Last year, I attended 2 executive programs I live in Singapore, but I went to Boston, to MIT to attend an executive program there. Then I went to California to attend an executive program there. All my life, I've always continuously invested. I'm actually chartered accountant, but went into industry, then doing so many diverse things. And the important value that I've learned is that what you study is useful for a particular point in time as an entry level, but you need to learn the value of continuously learning new skills. Gone are the days when you know something and you join and you retire like that. Those days are gone. Every 6 months, every 1 year, every 2 years, you have to reinvest. So therefore, learnability is very, very important value. The other value is creativity. We have to explore our creativity. We have to think big. We have to take risks. So in that word creativity, entrepreneurship is there, ability to think out of the box. The third is simplicity. We all create wealth and the tendency to get attached to the world, to wealth, and Mahadevan was talking about fashion. So I would urge you to be detached from the wealth that you create as you go forward. As the Gita says, it's renunciation in action, not renunciation of action. So therefore, you need to be simple in the way you are attached to these kind of desires. Oftentimes, we are struggling with failures, and tenacity and not giving up is an important value that you should think of. Post my Californian trip to Singularity University, I'm a chartered accountant, but I went for a technology. One of the things that I've learned is that you have to think the world is moving in an exponential pace. It is not a linear pace anymore. Growth is exponential. So what happens today, the growth is not even 10 times, not even 100 times, not even 1,000 times, million times. You see examples of that all around you in social media. So you have to think exponential. Indic Renaissance. So we are at a very interesting phase where the whole world is consuming our thought. I don't know whether you remember, there's an old movie called Diwar. So Amitabh Bachchan is there, Shashi Kapoor is there. So Amitabh Bachchan is a smuggler, and then he gives a big dialogue saying that mere paas gaadi hai, bangla hai. And he asks Shashi Kapoor, tumhare paas kya hai? And he says, mere paas maa hai. So imagine that Xi Jinping of China is talking like that. And he's saying, mere paas one Belt Road hai, one Shanghai hai, ye hai, Shenzhen hai. Tumhare paas kya hai? And Modi says, mere paas culture hai. Think about it this way. There is a need for economic power, but today the world consumes Indian culture. Be it yoga, be it cuisine, be it Ayurveda, be it our spirituality, our handicrafts, anything, visual arts, performing arts, music, literature. They come here for tourism. Every aspect of our culture is consumed globally. There is no other country in the world which has as rich a heritage as we have. Today, the world is consuming that. So if you recognize that as an important point, and you have come to this university, which is enriched in culture, remember that even though you could have gone to another university and done a BCom, but if you're doing a BCom with Indic values, this will stand you in very, very good stead, because the world is consuming our culture. In the corporate world, so you're going to go back to the corporate world after your graduation, BBA, BCom. You know what are the words that are talked about? Purposefulness, mindfulness, design thinking, sustainability, ethics, diversity, wellness, happiness, logic, and clarity in thinking. These are the words that the corporate world globally is talking about. All these words are backed with Indic wisdom. Whether it is the Gita, whether it is the Yoga Sutras, whether it's the Nyati Shastra, whether it is the Artha Shastra, all this wisdom is packed. And we have to understand and learn. So some of you are doing BA in Sanskrit studies and Indic traditions. So you will know that you will get plenty of jobs. There is no dearth of jobs who are going to study Sanskrit traditions at all. Trust me. And those of you who have chosen a BCom, and because you're studying here with associate packaged Indic wisdom, trust me, the world is looking for leadership who have Indic values. So you're in the right place to go and conquer the corporate America and corporate world. Artificial intelligence is a big thing. There are a lot of jobs that are going to go away in globally. And one of the things that will happen as a result of it is that you all heard of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So universal basic income will be given. Everybody will be given a check because there are no jobs. What will happen is they would be hastening for a pursuit of moksha. So there is a global demand for acharyas, global demand for Indic wisdom. So please spend time even while you're doing your BA or BCom. If you're doing your BA applied psychology, you are rightfully positioned to be an executive coach. Once you do your masters, you can become an executive coach in Google. Large CEOs of large companies would be consulting you, because the moment they take over a leadership position, they need some wisdom. And your BA in applied psychology will be of great value. Indira Nooyi, coming back to Indira Nooyi. So after this incident, she went back and then she did an interview. And in that interview, she was mentioning that this incident in Chennai triggered a thought. She went back to her office, and to the top 200 executives of her company, she wrote to their parents. She wrote a letter. Dear parent, Tom works with PepsiCo. He is in my team. I'm so happy with him. You have raised him so well. He is a great guy. She wrote that letter to 200 American parents, and all of them were touched. They were in tears. They talked to her. They met her and said, nobody ever thanked us. So this is the CEO of a top company giving Indic value, our value. You understand the beauty of that thought of what she did. Similarly, Srinivas Ramanujan and Mahadevanji was talking about faith. If you see that movie, and he talks about, he's a mathematician, so you can be as scientific as it can be, but he's a very devout and a religious person. And so his professors in Oxford or Cambridge, they ask him, why are you so religious and scientific at the same time? And he says that I cannot conceive of any equations without the blessings of Devi. The equations are a manifestation of Devi. So you see, you can be, he was not using the word scientific and broad-minded, but you can be scientific, but at the same time, you can have bhakti, you can have shraddha, you can have surrender. So that is what Indira Nooyi and Srinivas Ramanujan have taught us. And the two words that I want to leave with you today in the Guru Purnima day is gratitude with attitude. Be grateful to the gurus who have taught you, and not just grateful as because, okay, he has taught me, there's a transaction. No. Do it with an attitude of surrender, of shraddha, of bhakti. And then you see the transformation within you. The West has taken several examples, whether it is Karma Yoga, whether it's Ayurveda, whether it is meditation, everything they've taken. 80% they will do asanas. They won't do with the namaskar. They won't do it with the feeling. So they've done everything, so they get the physical benefits of it. But the day Harvard comes back and says, attitude is important, you will see that the whole world will change. They will all become Indics. The whole world will become Indic in thought. Gurudev has manifested itself. Again, I was talking about Chinfo. When I started Indic Academy and I looked at what is Indic thought and I put the definition, it so happened, and it just flew out of my thinking, that Indic thought is somebody who transcends science and humanities, who transcends tradition and modernity, and who transcends East and West. The moment I wrote this, I was shaken aback, and I sent a mail to Sundarji and I said, look, do you see the similarity? And that is the beauty of Bhagavan, who is just manifesting itself in our actions, in our thoughts. If only we had the Shraddha. Thank you very much. I now request my volunteer to tell me the 9 words. You got 6. Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
I request our Anupama to bring a token of affection for Sri Hari Kiran Vadlamani, where I request Swami Advayananda to hand it over to Sri Hari Kiran Vadlamani. As is the norm here, we give books. That beautiful Om lamp you see, we've given you a replica of that. So thank you, Sri Hari Kiranji. For me, having been here for about 3 years now, a little less than 3 years, the greatest part of my job is really meeting inspired people like Sri Hari Kiran Vadlamani. It is just comes and comes. This is a gift that keeps on giving. Thank you for continuing that gift. The next speaker, Sri D.V. Sridharan, Swami Chinmayananda talks about all of us, especially the young, and I heard this from him many, many years ago, that the most important thing for a youngster to do is to identify and follow role models. So I can definitely say Sri D.V. Sridharan is a role model for me. I can't say I have followed him in that sense. Sri D.V. Sridharan used to be a marine engineer and wandered the world around in ships, probably all 6-7 oceans. But at some point he himself had an epiphany and decided to say that the news is filled with stories that are depressing. And especially when you think about how India is covered, it is even more sometimes depressing. He did not simply whine about it. He said, I'm going to do something about it. So he went out and found, discovered, chased down stories, positive stories, good stories about Indians doing great things, not necessarily on the top of the headlines, but in their own small worlds, but making a difference to this world. And he established a website called goodnewsindia.org. It is still out there, although it is not updated frequently, where he individually has authenticated every story that is out there. That is how I heard of Sri Sridharan. Since then, he has gone on to become what is called a restorer of land. He has brought greenery, water, plenty, and agriculture to places that seemed arid, that seemed dead. And if any of you have not heard of the world water crisis, then I suggest that you're in a deep coma, because that is something that he has once again taken it upon himself, that one step at a time, one plot of land at a time, he can do something about it. Today he's already on his second plot of land to restore it, and he is here to talk to you about the environment, our collective responsibility. Sri Sridharan, please.
Respected Guruji, my pranams to you and to all others on the stage and to this audience. I'm feeling very blessed today to be on this Guru Purnima day, to be at the birthplace of Bhagavan Sri Adi Chakra. I thank my friend Hari Kiran Vadlamani for nearly forcing me to come here. I had no clue, and he said, you just come. And this he keeps repeatedly doing it to me. He takes me to places I had not known at all, and my education has just about begun now. And as I look at the audience here, I think I can fairly bet I'm the oldest person in this hall. And that's no brag. And what I'm going to say following that fills me with a certain sense of shame, because I'm the most inappropriate person to be standing and talking to you, because I am the least literate in all the world that you inhabit. I'm an alien to this. And that's because of the generation I belong, which I'll come to shortly. I must almost apologize for my generation. I'm 76 now. I was born before independence. I lived through the Nehruvian era. I lived through the modernity that was preached to us, and I completely alienated myself from our culture. I went away from the country for many, many years. I suffered such an immense loss, which I'm grateful to see that none of you will ever suffer, because the starts you have had, because the hands you have put yourself into. So I'm very happy for you, but I must also apologize for the generation to which I belong. We have, in a way, devastated it in many, many ways, politically, culturally, environmentally, and even character-wise. I know many of my classmates, I know many of my generation, and a bit of the trail still trickles through. It's not over yet, but I think with the kind of work that this institution is doing and what Harikiran is doing, I can see an end to it, and that is my hope. What I mean is a kind of a contempt you develop, far from learning the Indic traditions and the respect for the Indic traditions and being proud of your ancestors, a creeping contempt. I don't know where this is coming from, and it's ingrained. And just last week, I was speaking to my young niece who has just returned from America, and I found it so difficult to talk to her and still retain the love I have for her. I've left with a lot of sadness. This alienation for your country and for your culture, it doesn't always come from ignorance. It does most of the time. In my case, it did, out of ignorance. I find perfectly so-called educated people going through this crisis of not knowing who you are, not respecting that we come from a tradition. You see, we all have an ancestor who probably lived in this very land 5,000 years ago at least. We all collectively have parents here, barring a few, most of us. And if we do not marvel at this continuity with which I don't think, barring maybe China and Russia and perhaps Japan, I don't think any other country can boast of this historical continuity that we enjoy. And we do not sit and reflect upon it. But I'm drifting. I got very little time to speak. But what can we do now? Given that I am so illiterate in our ways, in our shastras and Puranas, I know nothing, I don't even know Sanskrit. I think in English and I speak in English. I don't say it proudly, but that's the reality of mine. So where do I begin? I think we begin with our history and just read up what our ancestors stood for. And some of the things that we read are very inspiring and makes us feel very comfortable. I'm here to caution you that there's no reason for comfort, there's no justification for comfort. I think we've got to draw certain lessons from it. Just yesterday, coming here and looking around me in the greenery and the God's own gift that Kerala has received, put me in the mind of a story I heard long, long ago. It might be apocryphal, but I think I wish it was true. The story goes that when the Portuguese came to India and parked the ships and berthed the ships in Calicut, they went to the Zamarin and they said, give us shelter. We are come looking and then we would like to be here for a few months and look at your culture. So he was a very generous man. He ordered the people to take them to their shelter or hospitality and treated them extremely well. And they stayed on and wandered around and mingled with the people, and they seemed very pleasant. After about 3 or 4 days, the Zamarins, courtiers, people in the palace, they came running to him. "Oh, king, you made a huge mistake by letting these aliens in. You shouldn't have allowed them all in." He says, "Why? They seem to be very friendly getting on." He says, "That's what they do during the day. Do you know what they do during the night?" He says, "What do they do?" He says, "They say they came to buy our peppers. They are stealing our pepper vines and taking to the ship. And they are going to take it away. They are going to grow their peppers and we'll lose our business." At which the Zamarin looked at them and he laughed. He says, "They can take our peppers, but they cannot take our monsoon," he said. This used to embolden me about the strength of this country and the strength of the character about our ancestors. But there's a caution. I'm now aware that we could lose the monsoon. We are heading for a huge crisis, an environmental crisis. Much as I admire our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I really wish that he would be our Prime Minister for a couple of more terms. I do sometimes worry about this overemphasis on this development, being unconscious of the environmental cost that we'll all bear. Now, when I add it all up, I still want him as my Prime Minister for the next 2 terms. But I hope, Bhagwan, I pray to him today, that he gives him an awareness about sensitivity to the environment. But that's not, we are just passing on the buck to him. I want to come down to what we must do. I think it's all doable at our level. When we say that it's somebody else's problem, and that's what's going on, a lot of whining is going on. Everything is wrong because it's somebody else. The environment is getting beaten. Look at the dirt, look at the garbage. But we toss our garbage out. We don't care about cleaning up our neighborhood. How else will it get clean? How else will things come? How else will water and the environment be protected? So over and above the wonderful advice that you have received, which I have made notes because they form advice to me, I hope you take away that advice. Never lose the primacy of nature and environment in your life. And one of my favorite poets, Auden, W.H. Auden, he said, in half jest, but it makes sense. He said, "Thousands of men have gone without love, but not one without water." Just think about it. So we all say love is all. This is the common tried saying that people say, love is everything. Yes, it's everything, but water is more important. You see? And unless you have an awareness of it, Kerala will get devastated. And if Kerala gets devastated, nothing else will work. Now, what can you do about it? I feel the crisis has happened because I'm not a learned man. I've not learned any of this from any reading, but it's my own experience. What has happened is I do venerate my ancestors, even the unseen ones. I somehow feel Bhagavan Shankara could have been related to my ancestors. Possible. Finally, there were not, when I was young, there were only 300 million Indians in India. We are quadruple. Obviously, there were far fewer. Since we all came from somebody or the other, we all must have been related. So I would like to claim that relationship. So when I look at the ancestors and how they acted, I feel there is one thing that we lack today, which they did not lack. It is the togetherness. Mark my words, be careful in understanding what I'm saying. The consumer and the producer. In our ancestors, they were the same. They were in them together, in the same person. The alienation of modern life is the consumer has been separated from the producer. Now, when I went to America for a longish tour, at the end of it, some American friends asked me, what strikes you? What strikes you? I said, you're a very efficient country in 2 ways. In the mornings, it's so perfect, it's clockwork. Everybody is enabled to get to the work desk by 7:45. Everybody gets there. That's the first part of the efficiency. And they work very hard and they get good paychecks. And the second efficiency kicks in at about 4:30 or 5 o'clock. And all the shops open, and everything, car parks are full in the shopping center, and all the money that you earn in the morning is relieved in the shops in the afternoon. Now, the whole day, he's a producer of some service or goods, and in the evening, he's a consumer of others' produce. And this is the way the modern economy works. So I think we got to be aware of the separation we have suffered. And sometimes when we are unhappy, sometimes when we feel lost, to me it worked. I feel I must go and dig into the garden and plant something. The carrot I produce is the sweetest in the world. The brinjal I cook, nothing is better than that. That's because I'm the producer and I'm the consumer. For that moment, I have come together. And now this bridging the gap between the consumer and the producer has to be a lifelong effort. It won't come easy, but you can start a revolution in your garden. You can do in a small patch and get away to it. As much as meditation, as much as knowledge, as much as itihasa, Puranas, all this makes, get your hand dirty, touch the soil, fall in love with the soil. Save the water that you can. Every ditch that you dig retains the water a little longer than it can. Just think about it, water is not infinite. There's only about a certain amount of limited fresh water that evaporates from the sea, and it recycles over and over and over and again, like it has done for millennium. We are not producing any more water. There's only the water that falls. And you've got to harvest it and you've got to save it. And I can go on. I know my time is limited. This is the thought that I want to leave with you. Love your country. And if you love your country, show it. Show it by caring for it. And care for it by just two things. No country, and I can assert it as an environmentalist, not as a jnani or a learned man. There's only two wealths that any nation can have. And I'm convinced about it. This is my personal thing. You can come back and share among each other if I'm not around. I said so. That is infinite amount of water that you can store in your aquifers and under your land. And the depth of your topsoil. Apart from these two wells, no country, no nation can have any other wealth, because all other wells proceed from this. If you artificially try to create the other wealth without these two, the topsoil and the water in the aquifer, that will be ephemeral, it will blow away. But if you do this with a deep rootedness in your water and your soil and your land, it will work. And I leave you with my one word of mandatory praise that I always do with any ears that are willing to listen to me. The country I admire is Japan. I wish India would adapt it as a role model. They have grown consistent with their heritage not having been lost. They are cutting edge technology, but they love their land, they love their soil, and they borrow a lot from our culture. They worship our Indian culture. There is shrines for Ganapati and Saraswati even today in Japan. They absorb everything, but they love the soil, their water, and their cutting edge technology is built on it. So with those words, thanks for giving me this opportunity to be able to speak to you all, and thanks for listening to my passion, and thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sri Sridharanji. Before we give him our token of affection, I'm going to share an epiphany that Dr. Yes, please.
Hari Om, this is an interruption, but I was just whispering few words in Sundar's ear, so he thought I would give utterance to that. While listening to Sridharanji's talk, one word came to my mind. He is like Ahilyodharaka. Ahilyodharaka is Rama. Everybody knows from Ramayana. But what is Ahalya? It is not Ahilya basically. It is Ahalya. Hala is a plowshare. Hala, okay? So halya means tillable land, the land which can be plowed, which can be tilled. And ahalya, being a negation to that, is an arid land, a barren land. And Rama did ahalyayaha uddharaha. You know, he made that barren land or arid land habitable. By his going there, the Dandakaranya and all other places became habitable. That is the sociological interpretation of Ahalyodhara Katha. So here we have Ahalyodhara, arid land, you know. So that was just, you know, that occurred to me. And thank you, Sundarji, for allowing me to share this with you all.
I told you we have very special faculty. This is an example of that. Just comes out like that. So thank you, Gauriji. So if I could, please, Gauriji, if you could be the one handing over the token of our affection to Ahalyodharaka D.V. Sridharanji. Yes. As I sit in here, listen here, I only wish that in my school years I had such inspiring people talk to me. So with that, it is time for us. In the morning we wanted to have a benediction by Swami Advayananda. Swami Advayananda is the President and Trustee, President of the Executive Council and Trustee of Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth. He is a man of many, many accomplishments which he tries hard not to reveal. At this point, I think the best way to know him is by hearing his benediction. Swamiji, please.
Hari Om. Today is Guru Purnima, the most auspicious day where we worship our Gurus. Shall we do a small exercise now? Yeah, a mental exercise for which we'll have to sit little straight and also close our eyes. Okay? So all of you ready? Please close your eyes. The first teachers we have ever had are our parents. Mother, father. Mentally prostrate to them. If not for our mother, we would not be able to utter a single word. As she fed us, she also gave our language. She is our first Guru. Prostrate. Give your loving salutations, namaskarams to your mother. Our father, to him who stood by us as we grew up, offer your salutations to your father. Sometimes loving, sometimes harsh, but ever having our good in their heart. They served us, they loved us, they made us what we are today. But for them, where are we? To all those teachers in our nursery school, some of them vaguely we may remember, some of them not at all, but yet they taught us the first letters. They stood us in those initial steps. To them, whose faces we don't remember, but yet whose knowledge is in our hearts. They are the foundation. To them, we offer our gratitude. And then to all the teachers who saw us through the very first standard, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, up to the 12th. They taught us with love. Some of them taught us with strictness. They served us with no desire in their heart, but just that we should do well in life, in studies. To all of them, we offer our prostrations. I may not have mentioned some of you, some of them who were your teachers. Bring them also to your mind. Offer them your gratitude. Today is Guru Purnima day. Today is the day we remember our teachers. Now we can open our eyes. My dear friends, we are human beings. Swamiji, what is the big thing you are telling? We are human beings. We are human beings, and only human beings have teachers. No creature in this whole world, please think a little carefully, no creature in the whole world has a guru, has a teacher. Only we human beings have a teacher. You all agree? Every creature has got mother, father. Mother, father, yes. But teacher? Dogs have got mother, father, cats have got their mother, father, birds have got their mother, father. But teacher? Only you and I have got. We have got. Human beings have got. Why is it that only human beings have got Guru? Why is that? Why should it be so? Why can't others also, other creatures, they are also alive? They also live in this world. Why don't they have a teacher? Because human beings are different from other creatures. We need a teacher, they don't need a teacher. What is that? Animals, they eat, is it not? They grow, they have children, then they grow, they have more children. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam. Life is over. Suppose I give you ahara, food. You will eat it also. We will eat it food. Will you be totally happy? No. Food is required, but mere food does not satisfy us. Animals require sleep. I also require sleep, you also require sleep. Then we grow up, we create progeny, our own offsprings. But these do not give us fulfillment. Animals, these give fulfillment. For human beings, these alone do not give fulfillment because we are made differently. Animals live for pleasure. Human beings live for meaning. We want meaningful life. Animals do not have a broad sense of life, whereas we have a broad sense of life with achievable, meaningful goals. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, we want to live a righteous life. You ask an animal, do you want to live a righteous life? No concept is there. Because they are pre-programmed to do what they want. Whereas human beings have got the freedom to do what they want. We are not pre-programmed. We have got a freedom. A dog will be born a dog, will live a dog and die a dog. Whereas man has got the freedom to evolve, to be a good human being or not to be a good human being. We all want to be a good human being. We value goodness. We value goodness outside, and when we are good, we feel happy about ourselves. When we do a good thing, we always feel delighted. We value dharma. Animals have no value for dharma. Artha, we want to earn wealth. Animals don't earn wealth. They finish it on the spot. Probably a dog will bury the bone, maximum. But we want to earn. We think for the future. Animals don't think for the future. Artha. And with wealth, we want to maximize. When I say we want to maximize, we want joy, we want happiness, but we want happiness not only for me. I want happiness for my family. Not only sometimes happiness for the family, I want happiness for the community. And the more we become mature, I say I want happiness for the nation. And I say I want happiness for the humanity. And then I say I want happiness for the whole created living beings. Sarve jana sukhino santu, sarve santu niramaya. These kind of aims and wishes we have. Kama, desire. Maximizing desire. And ultimately, sometimes we think, all this is fine, but so what? What next? Is there something higher? Because we feel still there is a vacuity in our hearts, which is not complete. By being a good person, by earning a lot, by being happy and making others also happy, and still we wonder, is there something lacking in my life? Human beings are of this nature. What to do? We are made differently. What to do? We are made in a very, very different content. What to do? And therefore, we require a guru, a teacher. A teacher, what does a teacher do? The teacher, yes, the mother and the father teach, but the teacher makes us find out answers to these kind of relevant questions of our life. Do you agree? A teacher does a very important job of making knowledge flow. This is something very different from animals and human beings. I am the cumulative past of the knowledge which has come through generations. Because human beings, again, they want things to flow because they evolve. A dog. Are you all with me? Am I communicating? A dog, okay? Example. A dog will leave a dog. If you see a human being, they have a very, very different way of growing. First, we all were roaming in the forest. And slowly we started settling down, probably in a hut. We started cultivation. Then what did we do? We started growing, creating towns, then cities, villages, towns, cities, nationalities, etc., etc. And what are we planning still? We are even planning now how to inhabit other planets. Why? Because we grow, we evolve. That capacity is there in us to evolve. And therefore, I require, because my nature is to evolve, I require not just me, I require a fund of knowledge which comes from the past, which I can also contribute to, so that the next generation has a far better life than me. This being the case, I require knowledge to flow. And that is what the parampara of teachers do. What do? They make the knowledge flow and they add to it so that it flows better. There is little more quality in the knowledge. But Swamiji, why are you telling all these things? Today we remember with gratitude our teachers. Our teachers have made us. Our teachers have shared the knowledge of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And our teachers have given the opportunity for us to add to it so that we grow further. So we all have a duty. And what is the duty? To gain and to make it flow. Right? To gain the knowledge and to make it flow. Because in doing that, we become true, complete human beings. On this great day, one of the greatest teachers, birthday, Jayanti, Sri Veda Vyasa, we have celebrated today in the morning. And today, let's also take a vow that I shall gain the best of knowledge, because this university does not give just knowledge of Dharma. Dharma though do not give. Artha or Kama, this university gives the knowledge of Dharma as well as Moksha. It gives complete knowledge. So gaining this knowledge, let us become complete human beings and let us make this knowledge also flow. I gain, I make it flow. I gain, I make it flow. And may the Guru's grace be with us. I invoke the grace of Lord, Param Pujya Gurudev, to make us all worthy students of this great university, and may we carry this knowledge around the world and make this whole world a happy and better place. Thank you all very much. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji. Our humble pranams on this Guru Purnima day as the continuer of that Guru Parampara tradition, Swamiji. From all of us, I request Dr. Gauriji to offer fruits. There's nothing more that we can offer you other than the love in our hearts, Swamiji. I'm sure all of the students, the parents, and the faculty here join us in offering you our humble pranams. This is the formal start of the second academic year, and therefore it is time for us to recognize the top performers of the first year. So with that in mind, I invite Srimati Soumya, our Assistant Registrar, to announce the name of those who made it onto the prestigious Vice Chancellor's merit list. Soumya ji?
Hari Om. So, as Sundarji has said, we have a surprise for the top scorers. So it was conceived by our Mahadevan ji and our Gauri ji. And the suspense is... Okay, so they want me to announce the suspense. The persons who have made it to the Vice Chancellor's merit list will be having a tuition fees waiver of 25% in the 2018-19 academic year. So you have to work hard to achieve the same thing for the next academic year also, same or better or whatever. So now we shall announce the names. BA Sanskrit, we have the top scorer as Anakha Pradeep. So please come forward. And I request Hari Kiran ji to hand over the certificate of merit to Anakha Pradeep. For BCom, we have the top scorer as Isha Sharma. For the BBA program, we have the top scorer who has made it to the Vice Chancellor's merit list as Janve DB. Janve, please. And for MA Sanskrit, we have Rohit Kumar, who has made it to the Vice Chancellor's merit list. So wishing you all the best. Let this be an inspiring for the other students also. Thank you.
Thank you, Soumya ji. We expect this list to grow, so all of the 100+ students in the first year starting in 2018, get ready to make our lives more difficult, okay? With that, it is, of course, my privilege to thank Sri Hari Kiran ji and Sri Sridharan ji for agreeing to come and grace the occasion and really deliver a wonderful keynote addresses to our students. We really, more than anything else, we look forward to continuing relationship with Indic Academy and Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth. I can't count the number of ways in which they have supported us. And also, the way he embodies the word strategic thinking, I think it's something that Indic, Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth can learn from. In fact, there is one fact that I can probably talk about today. In September 2016, Professor Mahadevan ji had organized an academic workshop in Bangalore, at IIM Bangalore, and Sri Hari Kiran ji was one of the key contributors to the workshop. So some of the ideas that he spoke about, you are already seeing in the way your curriculum is laid out. So we look forward to continuing that relationship. Thank you, Sri Hari Kiran ji. It is not customary to thank our own Swami Advayananda ji because he is one of us, but just Swamiji for the inspiration and the blessings. Our humble pranams to you. In the morning, Swami Sridharan ji, Swamiji has already thanked him, but I think from all our hearts, I know I echo everything that is in your hearts. I convey and I reach out to Swami Sridharan ji with our humble thanks for the beautiful Vidyarambha ceremony that he did. With that, may all your learning be enriched. May you become brilliant contributors to this world today and far into the future. Our gratitude to the Guru Parampara as beautifully revealed by Swami Advayananda ji. This gratitude must be and is in our hearts every single day. The Chinmaya International Foundation has always been our host and parent in more ways than one. The management at the Chinmaya International Foundation and every single sevak in there has been instrumental in making this place a beautiful success, including this nice auditorium that you're sitting in today. So I know they're not here because they've left it to us. Not too many of them are here because we have taken over this auditorium. But on all your behalf, I convey our gratitude to the Chinmaya International Foundation trustees, management, sevaks, and all of those who have worked there. With that, I request you all to join me in the closing prayer. At the end of the closing prayer, shall we do the pledge first? We'll do the pledge first. Okay. I request each and every one of you to stand up. It is customary in Chinmaya Mission to put your right hand on your heart. And please repeat after me. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena marge mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam shobharahitah brahmana santu nirbhayaah. Om sarvesham swastir bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu nam mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayah sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet asato ma sadgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की बोलिए श्री आदि शंकराचार्य भगवान की स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा हरि ओम भारत माता की भारत माता की भारत माता की नेशनल एंथम जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उत्तल जलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाए तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे भारत माता की